Imagine pulling a guy from a local domestic league, just throwing a national team jersey on him for the very first time.
Right, at 29 years old, no less.
Exactly, at 29. And then watching him completely outclass players who have been, dominating the highest levels of European football for a decade.
It's just wild.
It really is. Today is June 22, 2026. And, well, the old world order of sports is collapsing.
It really feels like it. Welcome to the deep dive, by the way.
Yes, welcome. Usually watching a global tournament feels like a solved algorithm, right?
Yeah.
You plug in the club pedigrees, the player salaries, the historical rankings, and it just outputs the expected winner.
Yeah, you look at the surface and assume you have the whole picture.
But looking at the stack of sources you sent us today, it is like a virus was introduced into the code. I mean, the math just isn't working anymore. Following sports right now is like watching an iceberg flip over. We usually just look at the scores on the surface.
What's that?
But today we're diving into the massive cultural and structural shifts happening underneath.
That is a great analogy because sports are never just about the game, They act as a real-time mirror reflecting global dynamics. And right now, that mirror is showing us some truly unprecedented images.
And that is our mission for you today. You handed us an incredible map of this changing landscape.
We've got a great stack of sources.
Well, we really do. We're pulling from match reports across FIFA, Fox Sports, and TSN. We've got team previews from World Soccer Talk and 442, raw fan reactions straight from YouTube, and this really eye-opening industry report from SVG Europe.
So we're unpacking how history is being rewritten, both on the pitch and off.
Exactly. We'll start on the pitch at the FIFA World Cup, and then we're going to pull back the curtain to look behind the cameras at the upcoming Milano-Cortina Winter Olympics.
I love it. Let's start with that algorithm failure at BC Place in Vancouver.
Yes. Group G, New Zealand versus Egypt. 52,497 fans packed into that stadium.
The atmosphere was absolutely defining, but what makes this match a perfect case study is how drastically it fractured at halftime. I mean, it was a tale of two completely different halves.
It really was.
For the first 45 minutes, New Zealand completely dismantled Egypt. They didn't just survive, they executed a structural game plan that left the Egyptian midfield just, chasing shadows.
Chasing shadows is the perfect way to put it.
Right. And this culminated in the 15th minute. New Zealand wins a corner delivered by Tim Payne, and Finn Sermon rises completely unmarked in the box.
A 22-year-old defender from the Portland Timbers.
Yes, and he delivers this thunderous header.
A gorgeous header. And Sermon hadn't even scored a goal in Major League Soccer since joining Portland in 2024. Suddenly, he is the unlikely hero for the All-Whites on the world stage. Mustafa Shobair, the Egyptian goalkeeper, had zero chance.
None at all. It looked like New Zealand was going to just cruise to a victory.
But then, the whistle blows for halftime. They go into the locker room, and Hassam Hassan, the Egyptian coach, fundamentally rewires his team.
Yeah, and context on Hassan is so vital here. This is a man who famously played every single minute of Egypt's 1990 World Cup campaign.
Wow, every minute.
Every minute. So he understands the psychological pressure cooker of a World Cup group stage intimately. He recognized that New Zealand's structure was just too rigid to break down with conventional passing.
So what did he do?
Well, he made a tactical tweak that unleashed an absolute storm in the second half. He fundamentally changed the spatial dynamic of the field.
Which brings us to Mohamed Salah. At 34, likely in his final World Cup, he steps back onto the pitch and essentially takes the game hostage.
He did, but surprisingly, Salah was almost acting as a tactical decoy in this match to enable the real damage.
Wait, hold on. How is the guy with the go-ahead goal in the 67th minute and the assist for the third goal acting as a decoy?
I know, it sounds crazy, but it's because of the gravity he commands. Salah's brilliance is undeniable, right? He dribbles past defenders, creates his own space. But Hassan's second-half adjustment wasn't just give the ball to Salah. It was use the fear of Salah to open up the middle. New Zealand started sending 2, sometimes 3 defenders shading towards Salah's side of the pitch.
Oh, wow. So they overcompensated.
Exactly. That overcompensation created a vacuum. And the player who stepped into that vacuum is the ultimate Cinderella story of this tournament, Mostafa Zico.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Zico is 29 years old. He has spent his entire club career playing domestically in Egypt.
For Kierman's FCC.
Right, and he only made his national team debut less than a month ago. Pulling a guy from a local Sunday league, domestic league, directly into the World Cup and watching him dominate is like a Hollywood sports script.
It really is. It was a massive career-risking gamble for the coach, but a calculated one. Zico isn't some European superstar with a massive price tag, but he possesses the exact tactical profile Egypt desperately needed.
The spatial awareness to find the gaps New Zealand was leaving when they panicked over Salah?
Bingo. In the 58th minute, Zico scores the equalizing header. And later, he combines brilliantly with Salah inside the box to set up the winning goal.
A literal man-of-the-match performance.
Yeah, by exploiting the exact blind spots the defense offered.
And the digital stadium, the fans on YouTube, they caught on to this immediately. Reading through the comments you shared with us, the energy is pure euphoria.
Oh, the comments were amazing.
One fan was practically in tears, claiming they've loved Salah for more than 30 years, which is mathematically hilarious since Salah's only 34.
Right, but that hyperbole perfectly captures the passion.
Totally. And they weren't just praising the goal scorers either. The fan base was heaping praise on Mustafa Shobair for a massive save right at the start of the second half. They recognized that if Shobair doesn't make that save, the momentum never flips.
The margins are just razor thin, and the fallout for the All-Whites demonstrates how devastating those margins are.
Yeah, let's talk about the New Zealand perspective.
TSN and 442 did a deep dive into this. Chris Wood, their captain and the Nottingham Forest star, was brutally candid. He admitted the team knew Egypt was going to bring a storm in the second half.
He's 33, right? He's seen it all.
Yeah, exactly. They anticipated the tactical shift, but they were left, quote, extremely gutted because they physically and mentally couldn't weather it. Darren Baisley, the head coach, assessed the loss by claiming his team simply failed to replicate their first half tempo.
Okay, I have to push back on Baisley's assessment here.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, did New Zealand really just lose their tempo? Or did Egypt simply dial up their technical superiority to a level the Kiwis mathematically couldn't match?
That's a very fair question.
Like, when Zico and Salah start playing one-touch combination passes inside the penalty area, is that a tempo issue? Or are you just getting outclassed by an offensive scheme you don't have the personnel to stop?
Well, that distinction is exactly why tactical analysis matters. Tempo implies a choice, a controllable level of effort or pacing. Egypt didn't outwork New Zealand. They tactically suffocated them by exploiting the half spaces.
Let's break that down for the listener. What exactly is a half space, and why does it break a defense?
Sure. So imagine dividing the soccer pitch lengthwise into 5 vertical lanes. You have the 2 wide lanes by the sidelines, the center lane right down the middle, and the 2 lanes in between those. Those in-between lanes are the half spaces.
Got it.
They are incredibly dangerous corridors. If an attacking player like Zico sits in that specific zone, he forces the defending center back and the defending fullback to make a terrible choice.
Like, who leaves their position to mark him?
Exactly. If the fullback steps inside, the wing is wide open for a cross. If the center back steps out, the middle of the goal is exposed. By putting players in those awkward gaps, Egypt just paralyzed New Zealand's decision-making.
Wow. So you don't lose your tempo in that scenario. Your tempo is taken from you.
Precisely. Which leaves Group G in a state of absolute beautiful chaos.
Which beautifully illustrates why we love the World Cup. Reputations mean nothing once the whistle blows. It all comes down to the next 90 minutes.
Look at the standings heading into the final matches. Egypt sits firmly at the top with 4 points. But the massive shock of the group is Belgium.
Belgium, a massive favorite.
Sitting in 3rd place with a meager 2 points.
That is insane.
Right after a stunning 0-0 draw against Iran, Belgium had all this club talent on the pitch, but they couldn't break down the Iranian defense.
How does that even happen?
Iran utilized a super disciplined low block. They effectively packed 9 players behind the ball and completely neutralized Belgium's speed. It proves that tactical discipline can neutralize pure pedigree.
Wow.
And this sets up a highly controversial and culturally loaded final set of matches for Group G, specifically the upcoming match in Seattle between Egypt and Iran.
Yes, and before we dive into this specific topic, we need to be crystal clear with you, the listener.
Absolutely.
We are about to discuss a politically charged situation regarding this upcoming match in Seattle. We want to state up front that we are neutrally reporting the facts and the contents of the source material provided to us. We are absolutely not endorsing, nor are we taking a side on the viewpoints expressed by the local organizing committee, the national federations, or anyone else involved.
Right. Our mission here is strictly to convey the ideas contained in the original source material.
Okay. With that said, what is happening in Seattle?
Well, The facts outlined in the Wikipedia source present a fascinating collision of cultures. The Seattle local committee planned a pride match well in advance of the tournament to celebrate LGBTQ plus pride.
Right.
But then, by random draw, the match features Egypt and Iran, two sovereign nations where homosexuality is strictly prohibited and punishable by law.
That is a massive cultural clash.
It created immediate friction. The reactions from the federations were swift. Iranian Football Federation President Mehdi Taj publicly called the branding an irrational move.
And the Egyptians.
The Egyptian Football Association sent a formal letter to FIFA. They explicitly rejected any LGBTQ connections to the game, quoting the source in absolute terms.
Meanwhile, the Seattle organizers maintained their stance, right?
Yeah, they pointed out that the event was planned long in advance to celebrate Pride across the country, not to target specific nations.
So, what does this all mean? How do international governing bodies navigate the friction when the deeply held local values of a host city directly collide with the legal and cultural frameworks of the visiting nations?
That is the million-dollar question, and it's a perfect pivot, honestly, because while Seattle shows the friction of cultural values off the pitch, another massive 2026 event is actively rewriting the industry values off the pitch.
Oh, you're talking about the Milano Cortina Winter Olympics.
Yes. The Olympic Committee has realized that to change the culture of sports, you literally have to change the people pointing the cameras.
That SVG Europe source was fascinating.
It really was. The Olympic Broadcasting Services, or OBS, is undertaking a massive overhaul to reshape gender equality in sports media.
And the numbers are wild.
For the first time in Olympic history, female commentators will outnumber men. Leading up to the 2026 Winter Games, 54% of the commentators, 19 out of 35, are women.
Think about what that actually means for you sitting on your couch at home. It's kind of like changing the narrator of a famous audiobook.
Oh, that's a good way to look at it.
Right, because even if the text is exactly the same, changing the voice, the cadence, and the perspective fundamentally alters the emotional story that the listener receives.
Totally. And the change goes much deeper than the voices on the microphone. OBS launched an initiative called Framing the Future.
What does that entail?
It actively recruits and trains female professionals to work in live sports broadcasting as camera operators. They are literally framing the action for billions of viewers.
Oh, wow. And they didn't stop at the cameras either.
Nope. They launched a sister program called Engineering the Future. They partnered with universities to embed female telecommunications engineering students directly into the complex broadcast network.
Wait, really? So they're building the infrastructure?
Exactly. They're handling the AI video tagging, managing the cloud virtualization, running the intercom systems.
Let's ground that in the listener's reality for a second. Think about the last time you watched a downhill ski race. The specific camera angles chosen, the replay speeds, the graphics on your screen, all of that invisible infrastructure tells your brain how to feel about the event.
Yes. Precisely.
By putting female telecom engineers in charge of that virtualization, OBS is literally rewiring the emotional story being beamed into your living room.
And they are also changing the rules of engagement for the production teams themselves through new portrayal guidelines.
I found this part so interesting.
It's a huge shift. They are explicitly stopping the trend of framing a female athlete's success solely around her male relatives or her role as a mother.
So the broadcast eliminates those tired tropes. No more, she won the gold, and her husband in the stands must be so proud of how she balanced motherhood to get here.
Exactly. The focus remains fiercely on the athletic achievement itself. Furthermore, OBS enacted tactical scheduling changes.
Tactical scheduling.
Yeah. In the past, men's finals were often given the premier primetime broadcast slots, commanding higher ad revenue and greater global visibility. Now, they are deliberately alternating men's and women's events for those prime slots, so women get equal global viewership.
It is a complete tearing down of the old framework. And, I mean, it ties everything we've explored today together brilliantly.
It really does.
Look at the threads from these sources. From the undeniable rise of underdogs like Mustafa Zico on the pitch, to the cultural clashes of a globalized tournament in Seattle, to the literal changing of the lens by Olympic broadcasters in Italy.
2026 is truly a year where the old scripts are being thrown out.
Completely thrown out.
Okay.
And to you listening to this right now, thank you for sharing this incredible stack of sources with us. We hope this deep dive helped you cut through the noise of the sports pages to see the bigger picture.
It's an evolving ecosystem, and all these shifts leave me with one final thing for you to mull over. Well, if the people organizing the events, the people calling the games, and the people pointing the cameras are all fundamentally changing, how long will it be before the actual rules of the sports themselves are rewritten to reflect this totally new global dynamic?
Oh, wow, that is a phenomenal question. Because right now, the algorithm isn't just glitching, it is being rewritten. Thanks for taking the plunge with us today. Keep asking great questions, keep looking past the score lines, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.